Donald Trump has been humiliated after Chinese social media accounts posted AI videos of Trump and Elon Musk toiling away in factories after slapping huge tariffs on the country. Another video posted shows depressed Americans working in factories. The US president slapped tariffs of over 100% on all Chinese goods entering America after China retaliated to his initial levies.
Right now, China's paying a 104% tariff. Think of it, 104%. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but they charged us for many items 100%, 125%. Many countries have. They've ripped us off left and right. Until they make a deal with us, that's what it's going to be. I think they'll make a deal at some point. China will. They want to make a deal. They really do. They want to make a deal. They just don't know how to get it started because they're proud people.
Countries like China, who have chosen to retaliate and try to double down on their mistreatment of American workers, are making a mistake. President Trump has a spine of steel.
Donald Trump rode back on tariffs for other countries after global markets went into meltdown following their implementation.
What's your take on this incredible pause of 90 days on global tariffs?
Yeah, I think it's a smart move by the president. It's a calculated move because once he realized that he had a coalition of 75, 76 countries and counting that were willing to negotiate, he understood, okay, I've gotten a part of my mission done, which is to decouple from China and to allow other countries to have a fair trade deal with America and for America not to be taken advantage of any longer. And what you saw from the very beginning, when Vietnam said we're sending over a delegation, we'll be there for 14 days, we want to get a deal done, is the president said that's exactly what my goal was, to put America first, not last in trade negotiations, to get better deals with all these countries that need to be redone, and to make sure that we're not relying on China from a national security standpoint. So I actually think this is going to be a bigger win, actually, for so many countries in the world, and not just for America at the same time. It also is going to make China a lot less important in the world, and it sends a clear message to other countries and companies. America wants to work with you as long as you're working with America. It has to be fair. It has to be a deal that makes sense for both countries. And you can't put America last. And so this is great also for American workers.
And Ben Ferguson, of course, skeptics, of which there are many, especially in the American media, have been calling this a nuclear winter incoming. And suddenly these shoots appear to be coming out. The winter appears to be passing. But has the true foe been exposed in China? And what does that mean for America? I mean, America offshored its manufacturing, the same as the United Kingdom, particularly in steel, in dirty energy, in manufacturing. Donald Trump has said all along he wants to make America great again by bringing jobs back to the States. Do you think that's now going to happen?
No, I think you're actually going to see a lot of jobs come back. And I think that's part of what he's doing with some of these deals. If you look at what has been coming out from just negotiations with Vietnam, for example, is look, there has to be some diversification. And if you want to have a deal with America, you're going to have to bring some of your jobs into this country and some of your manufacturing. I think that's very clearly a point of what the president has been saying. So he has not abandoned that at all. He is now saying it has to be something where we're more than happy to buy a lot from another nation, but you got to have some skin in the game in the U.S. And we can't just be totally reliant on you overseas. That is not a good trade deal for the American worker or the American people. We've seen millions of American manufacturing jobs disappear over the last 25, 35 years in this country. He's saying no more to that. So any country that's negotiating, listen to me when I tell you this. This cannot be a deal where everything is overseas. You're going to have to do some business in America, manufacturing in America. Otherwise, these deals will not get done.
He said there was room for a trade deal with the EU.
Prime Minister of Greece just told Breitbart's Matt Boyle that he thinks absolutely the European Union and the United States could work out a trade deal that's win-win and, quote, mutually beneficial to both sides. What do you think about the Prime Minister's comments, and do you think a deal could be struck with the European Union?
first of all, I know him. He's a good man, and I appreciate his comments. Yeah, a deal can be made with every one of them. A deal's going to be made with China. A deal's going to be made with every one of them, and there'll be fair deals. I just want fair. They will be fair deals for everybody, but they weren't fair to the United States. They were sucking us dry, and you can't do that. You know, we have $36 trillion of debt for a reason. We don't have it there for fun. They have it for a reason, and people took advantage of our country, and they ripped us off for decades. I've been thinking about this for decades. If you ever saw me on television, I was young like these guys. And it was the good old days, I'll tell you, Roger. But I was like these guys, young, and I was talking about it. Nothing changed, and nothing was done about it. Then I did it. In my first term, I did it, and did it well. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China and others, and I started the process, but then we had to fix up from the COVID mess caused by China. We had to fix up from that, and we did a good job of doing it. And when we handed back the reins after a rigged election, and when we handed back the reins, the stock market was higher than it was before COVID coming in. So, you know, we did a great job, but we didn't have time to do the big thing, which we're doing now. And it's, you know, it's like a patient is sick, you have to do surgery. Patient is very, very sick. And Joe Biden handed us over a country that was in very serious trouble, economically and in every other way. They let China run away with things. They let other countries run away with things.
Nigel Farage was quizzed on whether this meant Britain had lost its Brexit benefit after all countries except China were put on to our lower rate.
You've been watching the market this morning. They're up about 5%. What on earth do you think Donald Trump is up to over in America?
So normally, when you get a big stock market fall, you get a corresponding rise in the bond market. So say you're a pension fund investor, you might lose money on behalf of your people on the equities, but you make a bit of it back on the bonds. And every time we have a stock market crash, that pattern repeats. This time it was different. This time we saw stock markets going down and bond prices falling as well, which led to real panic amongst the investment community. And by the way, the same thing happened here. You know, 10-year interest rates yesterday in Britain traded over 5%. And the reason for this is the size of American national debt, the size of British national debt. And I think, frankly, what happened is some of Donald Trump's biggest supporters said, whoa, you please got to take your foot off the brake. Otherwise, we're going to be in big trouble. So it was definitely a move caused by the markets, but equally caused by some of those who put a lot of money into Donald Trump's campaign.
And we've lost our Brexit benefit, haven't we, Nigel? I mean, everybody's got these 10% tariffs now.
Yeah, that's right. However, we're in a much better place to negotiate than the European Union is. Donald Trump actually likes us. Our trade with America is roughly even, as opposed to the European Union, who he dislikes intensely and who, of course, on cars have a massive surplus. So we are in a much better position than our neighbours in Europe to negotiate a tariff-free package. I absolutely believe that that is achievable over the course of the next month or two.